Good evening, everyone. I want to welcome you all and thank you so much for taking the hour this evening to honor Women's International League for Peace and Freedom, or WILPF as we all lovingly call it. At our 110th anniversary, WILPF at 110, Vision Action Unstoppable. My name is Eva Egozi, and I will happily be your host for this evening. I myself started my own WILPF branch here in Miami, Florida, as the first Florida branch of the Women's International League for Peace and Freedom. I was only a sophomore in high school, and now I've been brought up in this branch of WILPF and the international organization overall into this panel and community of women excited to be leaders in our communities and excited to rise up as women in bringing and forwarding peace movements. Last month, I actually had the opportunity to attend the United Nations Commission on the Status of Women meetings in New York City with other WILPF women. Please just take a moment to go ahead and write in the chat where you're coming from, your branch, and if you are a WILPFer or your affiliation if you are not, and then go ahead and add your partner organization, or if you're simply just a supporter and are just here on the Zoom meeting. This evening, we're going to hear from some of our own amazing WILPFers about the history and impact of WILPF, our current WILPF programming and events, and we're also happily going to feature the arts, both music and spoken words. We will hear from some of our descendants of our WILPF founding leaders who were pioneers for peace and social justice. One of the women I love to hear about in WILPF and who initially got me so excited about the organization itself was Jane Addams, who was actually labeled a dangerous woman in a memo that was sent to the FBI. We all laugh because we know Jane Addams, like we are doing today, was simply advocating for peace, human rights, and other justice issues, all non-violently. And through public education and advocating to politicians, she was able to forward movements for peace. In honoring this WILPF activist spirit who consistently spoke truth to power, tonight we will give out 2 inaugural Vision Action Unstoppable Awards to our featured speakers this evening, Ellen Thomas and Lisa Graves. And finally, we have happily put together an amazing, fun montage of WILPF supporters far and wide that will salute us in reaching its 110 years. Yet, let's still promise to keep in mind that tonight is not only about celebrating and educating everyone about our work, but it is also to raise the necessary funding to make WILPF sustainable for the next 110 years. So please, go ahead and see the text to donate and/or the donate link that's been placed in the chat, and please donate what you can to keep WILPF strong for the next 110 years. So, to start us off, let's hear from Emma's Revolution. Known for fearless, truth-telling lyrics and melodies you can't resist singing, Emma's Revolution is the award-winning activist duo of Pat Humphries and Sandy O, whose songs have been praised by Pete Seeger, covered by Holly Near, and sung at justice events around the world. The duo says, "We live in a tumultuous time of wars and refugees, authoritarians, and threats to democracy. Music helps us find our voices and brings us together to create a more just and sustainable world." Here they are with their powerful song, Our People Gonna Rise.
Our people gonna rise.
Our people gonna rise.
Our people gonna rise. Listen to our cries through the pain and lies. Our people gonna rise. Our people gonna sing.
Our people gonna sing.
Our people gonna sing. In spite of everything, hear our freedom ring. Our people gonna sing. Our people gonna fight. Our people gonna fight. The word we know is right. We're marching to the night. Our people gonna fight. Our people gonna breathe.
Our people gonna breathe.
Our people gonna breathe. Whatever you believe, we have the right to breathe. Our people gonna breathe. Our people gonna pray.
Our people gonna pray.
Our people gonna pray. Take our rights away, see you on election day. Our people gonna pray. Our people gonna rise.
Our people gonna rise.
Our people gonna rise. Listen to our cries through the pain and lies. Our people gonna rise.
Our
People gonna rise. Our people gonna rise.
Our
People gonna rise. Our people gonna rise.
Thank you, Emma's Revolution. That was truly inspiring. You have written a powerful song that embodies what WILPF has been working towards for the past 110 years. Now, for all of us, in paying tribute to WILPF on this 110th anniversary, let's remember the incredible impact we have had over the years. Here is a short presentation encapsulating some of the highlights of our legacy.
WILPF's roots began on April 28, 1915, during World War I. Bold visionary women came together and said there has to be a better way. Social reformer and co-founder of the Hull House, Jane Addams, led the charge. From day one, we've lived our values: vision, action, unstoppable. We're a global grassroots feminist peace organization. We stand up for peace, justice, and freedom, not just as ideas, but lived realities. It means showing up, strategizing, organizing, advocating. We center on women's leadership, nonviolence, community power, and sustainable futures. Back to the beginning, 1915, women from 12 countries met at The Hague, even as war raged. 47 U.S. women boarded the Nordam, including Jane Addams and Emily Green Balch. They wrote resolutions, met with leaders of warring nations, and in 1919 they met again in Zurich, where they officially adopted the name Women's International League for Peace and Freedom. By 1921, we had 25 national sections or participating countries. We made waves. The FBI called Jane Addams the most dangerous woman in America. We took that as a compliment. In 1931, she won the Nobel Peace Prize, first American woman ever. Still makes us proud. During World War II, WILPF actively opposed fascism, the genocide of the Jews, Japanese internment, and the atomic bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. In 1946, Emily Green Balch, economist-sociologist, became the second WILPFer to win the Nobel Peace Prize for her work on peace and poverty. We helped shape the League of Nations, which later became the UN, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, and the Geneva Conventions. In 1948, we became the first women's peace organization granted UN consultative status. We marched with Dr. King. He was a member, along with his wife, Coretta Scott King, and Jane Fonda, Joanne Woodward, and Alice Walker. We challenged the Vietnam War, traveling to both North and South Vietnam. And in 1971, we launched our Peace and Freedom magazine. We've also used art, posters, buttons, stickers to spread our peace and justice messages. In 1982, we launched our signature STAR campaign, Stop the Arms Race. WILPF sections worldwide gathered signatures urging NATO to cancel deployment of Pershing missiles. That same year, WILPFer Alva Myrdal, the Swedish sociologist and diplomat, won the Nobel Peace Prize for her peace work. That's 3 Nobels for WILPF: vision, action, unstoppable. In 1983, we helped found the Women's Peace Encampment at Seneca. In 1985, we launched the Women's Budget, proposing less for weapons and more for care, and we published our principles and policies. We dug into the roots of inequality, like the Powell Memo, and the concept of corporate personhood, partnering with groups like the Poor People's Campaign. We've stood up for reproductive rights, democracy, and clean water, warning about PFAS contamination early on. We've promoted the Nuclear Weapons Abolition and Conversion Act with Representative Eleanor Holmes Norton and the Treaty on the Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons. In 2017, we won the Nobel Peace Prize again, Ray Atchison of Reaching Critical Will, part of the international campaign to abolish nuclear weapons. That's 4 Nobels, just saying. We've worked with women across the DMZ for peace in Korea and defended immigrants' rights at every turn. We recently lost Edith Ballantyne, former Secretary General, International President, and a legend. She lived to 102 and never lost her fire. Today, we're in 40-plus countries. The U.S. section is one of the biggest, with dozens of branches nationwide. We gather online, in person, and every 3 years at congresses, national and international. We're part of a global peace family. For 110 years, we've shown up, long after others gave up. We're still here, still standing, and acting for a better world. But let's be real, the world is in crisis. Fascism's rising, wars grind on, the planet's in peril, rights are under attack. So here's our ask. Support us like you want us to win. Whether you're a longtime WILPFer or hearing about us for the first time, please celebrate our impactful 110-year history and support our next 110 years. Stand with us. Be vision, be action, be unstoppable.
I think it's genuinely evident here how WILPF has worked to revolutionize peace movements over time. We have done so much, and we are continuing to make these incredible strides, even in these unprecedented times. That is why I'm particularly excited to introduce you to our new vision taking shape at WILPF with our newest leadership, our new executive director and 2 new co-presidents. First, we will hear from our new executive director, Linda Lowe. Linda has been a proven leader serving membership organizations and mobilizing allies in shared action. Her education and experience have positioned her as a subject matter expert in peacebuilding and conflict resolution at the intersection of women's political power. Some of her rich experiences she brings to WILPF US include being the chair of the board of directors at Build to Lead, the founder and past president of Rotary Club of Global Partners in Peace, the citywide HR communications manager for the city of Seattle during the COVID-19 pandemic, the Director of Social Impact at APCO Worldwide, and the Duke UNC Rotary Peace Fellow and founder of Leadership Dialogues. Linda holds a Master of International Development Policy from Duke University. Hi, Linda. How are you feeling tonight?
I am so thrilled to be with all of you this evening. As you can see, I've got the party started behind me to celebrate 110 years of world-changing work at the Women's International League for Peace and Freedom. Throughout history, WILPF has mobilized with feminist leaders like our founder, Jane Addams, Lola Maverick Lloyd, Coretta Scott King, and so many more passionate people like you and me in communities doing grassroots, groundbreaking work to drive change. We are the U.S. section of the global WILPF network, active in 40 countries around the world. And in this moment we're in, I am so proud to know that WILPF is one of the rare voices that will not back down on hard issues. WILPF women, WILPF allies, I honor all that you have done and will continue to do. Marching in streets, writing to elected officials, and mobilizing communities. I am committed to doing this important work with you as we tackle the challenges that we must face together to meet this moment. In this 110th year anniversary, WILPF stands on the shoulders of giants that came before us, and we build on your legacy. Every one of you that has joined us today or are celebrating in your communities. I am talking about people like Lucy, second-generation WILPF woman in Durham, Margaret, college student in New York who joined WILPF earlier this year, Lucille, in Bloomington, Illinois, who has been mobilizing with WILPF for 5 years. I name these women, I call them out, who like you, like all of us gathered today, remain focused on the work. Together, we are the foundation that holds WILPF up, and we will continue to drive change. I know these are overwhelming times, and I know we must also hold on to joy. And so today, We gather in joy to celebrate. We celebrate the past and we look forward to the future, to the next 110 years of action together. And in this 110th year, I'm very excited to say that we have two new co-presidents, Martha Collins and Shilpa Pandey. I have the pleasure of introducing one of our co-presidents, Martha Collins now, who will speak next. Martha is an extraordinary woman. She's a coalition builder with a deep commitment to mobilizing communities and leaders. For more than 20 years, she's been organizing at the grassroots level, advocating for policy change, mobilizing people and allies to drive voter turnout, legislative progress, and so much more. She has held leadership roles at Feeding America, the Center for Progressive Leadership, just to name a few, and she currently serves as National Council Representative with the United Nations Association USA and is an active member of the UNA Women Affinity Group, advocating for gender equality always. It is my deep pleasure to pass the microphone on to our co-president, Martha Collins. Martha, over to you.
As the new co-president of the Women's International League for Peace and Freedom, it is an incredible honor to stand here before you today as we celebrate the 110th anniversary of this groundbreaking organization. My vision is to continue building on this rich legacy by fostering a world where peace is not just the absence of conflict, but the presence of justice, equality, and opportunity for all. I envision a future where women lead the way in changing and shaping policies that protect human rights, promote sustainability, and bridge divides. Together, we will strengthen our global network, amplify the voices of those marginalized, and relentlessly pursue the principles of peace and freedom that have been the heart of WILPF for over a century now. In solidarity, we can build a world where future generations inherit a planet grounded in peace, justice, and lasting freedom for all. Thank you for your trust and support as we embark on this next chapter together. And now, I would like to introduce Shilpa Pandey. She holds a Master's of Business Administration in Information Systems and Human Resources Management. Shilpa has 15 plus years of experience, international experience, including roles at Dell and the United Nations Development Program. A former national TV presenter in India, she covers social and development issues. Now based in the US, Shilpa leads public sector information technology projects, as well as serves on her city's library board. Shilpa also is active in Freedom Network USA, advocating against human trafficking. Without further ado, here's Shilpa.
Well, thank you, Martha, for the introduction. I look forward to working with you as a co-president and the rest of the membership. I look forward to working with them. And as WILPF celebrates 110 years of its existence, I am reminded of all of the icons and pioneers that have gone before me, the pioneers who led the feminist-led peace movement, who struggled before us. And I'm reminded that the journey has not ended. The journey continues as we continue to engage with women from diverse communities and make sure that WILPF is here for the next 110 years. And as a co-president, I look forward to leading WILPF in this important time. And I encourage you and I invite you to join us in this movement of nonviolent ways to achieve peace. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for all of our new leadership. I'm definitely really excited for the years to come in WILPF. And now let's go ahead and turn to featuring some of the great work that WILPF is currently doing through our issue committees, CSW, and our recent triennial Congress.
Happy 110th anniversary, WILPF. I am Julie Kabukani, co-chair of WILPF's Advancing Human Rights Committee. Our committee is rooted in WILPF's enduring mission to advance peace and justice by defending and promoting human rights at the federal, state, and local levels. We often work collaboratively with other organizations and WILPF committees. Our subcommittees focus on border and migration justice, ending mass incarceration and the death penalty, housing justice, the UN Decade for People of African Descent and Reparations, minerals fuel wars in Africa. We welcome everyone to join us in this vital work. Together, let's continue building a more just and peaceful world. Thank you and happy anniversary.
Hi, this is Lenny Villagomez-Reeves, co-chair with Cindy Domingo of the Cuba and the Bolivarian Alliance Committee. We uplift and defend the Cuban example of rights for all, especially including women and LGBTQI plus people and non-white people, and of education, healthcare, and the struggle against racial colonial capitalism. And we connect this with women and others here in the US, so we'll all understand why the power of a good example is so threatening to the US government, and why we must defend Cuba and other countries that struggle to be free. Congratulations, WILPF, on our 110th anniversary.
Hello, this is Cheryl Spencer, one of the 3 co-chairs of the Disarm End Wars Issue Committee of WILPF US. I'm here to tell you about our mission, which we have been doing. We're the longest committee, and we have been following this mission for the last 50 or so years. We work for a nuclear-free future by eliminating all nuclear weapons and phasing out nuclear and fossil fuel energy. We develop resources to educate the public about the importance of moving the money from weapons and war to carbon-free, nuclear-free energy and other crucial societal needs. We are a big committee. We have 25 active members, and we have 12 ongoing campaigns, and we welcome new members. We meet twice a month, and we hope that this 110th anniversary brings us into a newer, more peaceful world. Thank you.
What an amazing thing to be a part of WILPF's 110th anniversary. Congratulations, WILPF. My name is Dee Murphy. I am founder and co-chair of the Domestic Prisoners of War Issue Committee, which is the latest issue committee in WILPF. In DPAL, we believe that peace begins at home, and the focus of our work is on eradicating the societal ills caused by domestic abuse and domestic violence. If you would like to work with us, we have a number of subcommittees that you can join, and our address is nomordepals@wilpfus.org. Thank you very much, and once again, congratulations, WILPF.
Congratulations on our 110th anniversary from Nancy Price and Jean Hayes, co-chairs of the Earth Democracy Committee. We all are members of the Earth community, so join with us to challenge corporate power and rule by the 1% and to protect Mother Earth and the ecosystems on which all life depends. We educate, mobilize, and take action on the human right to water and health, including PFAS forever chemicals, devastating impact on human health, on climate justice, women, and peace, including how militarism and war contaminate the environment, and on food sovereignty, regenerative agriculture, and indigenous knowledge for actions to support the human right to health and safe food. Join us to create educational materials, actions, events, signs, banners, and more. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Jan Korteman, and on behalf of the Middle East Peace and Justice Action Committee, I'm sending congratulations to WILPF on its 110th year of feminist peace building. Happy anniversary. MEPJAC's focus is to organize WILPF members to speak up for everyone in the Middle East. We challenge the narrative on the Israel-Palestine conflict, a narrative which favors Israel's claim in defining the conflict, a narrative that has led to a biased U.S. policy. We have given Israel billions of dollars in military assistance for the horrific bombings in Gaza and assaults in the West Bank and Lebanon. Jeannie Silver of the MAPJAC Committee leadership team offers timely news from the region, along with quick steps to act now. Watch for news about our upcoming webinar featuring a showing of exception about the fierce battle for academic freedom on our college campuses. I'll close by thanking you for your work to build public support for the human and sovereign rights of the Palestinians. Let's continue to put pressure on U.S. policymakers to support a just peace throughout the region. Thank you.
Happy 110th anniversary, WILPF, from the members of the Women, Money, and Democracy Committee. I'm Mary Beth Gardam. Our committee focuses on economic justice, especially as it affects women and families. Our projects include public banking for the common good, the history of big money oligarchs purchasing our democracy, and ways to stop them, monetary reform to reject debt-based currency, and feminist economics to inform women that they really are at the center of our economy and explain how it affects them and how they can protect themselves. We educate ourselves and then prepare to take our knowledge out into the wider world to inform our friends and neighbors and to actively advocate for meaningful change. Join us. Happy anniversary, WILPF, and here's to another 100 years of solidarity and feminist activism. Yay!
What an amazing Congress we had in 2024. My name is Steve Murphy. I was Congress Coordinator for WILPF's 35th Triennial Congress, and it was such an honor to meet so many amazing people that informed and educated us across the spectrum about so much work that's going on so many different levels to maintain and preserve our planet's most precious resource, our water. Really looking forward to following up with Earth Democracy and all the many organizations that we aligned with for this Congress. And if you have an opportunity, please go to WILPF US's website, look for the 35th Triennial Congress, and you will be amazed at how much work people are doing and their tenacity and perseverance. And if you have any questions, please email Congress Coordinator at wilpfus.org if there's someone there that you'd like to work with, or you can't find their contact information. Thanks once again, WILPF. And thank you for 110 years of awesome work.
WILPF's Commission on the Status of Women programs. The CSW is the global intergovernmental body dedicated to promoting gender equality and empowering women. And drafted the CEDAW, the Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women, an international UN treaty aimed at protecting and improving women's rights. The U.S. has signed but never ratified this treaty. Every spring, WILPF US sends two groups of CSW delegates, younger activists in our UN practicum and advocacy, and more seasoned WILPF members who participate in our Local to Global program. Here is our 2025 WILPF panel reflecting on Beijing Plus 30. Now let's hear from a younger activist who participated in WILPF's practicum and advocacy.
Hey all, my name is Cecile van Eyck. I am originally from the Netherlands, but I'm a student at Kent State University in Ohio. I study international relations and peace and conflict studies, so therefore having this amazing past and being at the United Nations is just an incredible, amazing opportunity for me. And I am so thankful that I'm able to be here.
While our work is something that we should surely celebrate and be proud of, WILPF has so much more courageous work to be done. Now remember, WILPF needs your support, and we strongly encourage you to text the number to donate or follow the link listed in the chat to donate. We thank you so much for keeping the courageous work of WILPF moving forward and alive and supporting our new leadership with your generous donations. So now, WILPF has always stood at the forefront of inspiring work put on by fearless activists, and tonight we are particularly excited to present our inaugural Vision Action Unstoppable Awards. Ellen Thomas is a full-time volunteer peace and justice activist since 1984 and is also the co-chair of WILPF US's Disarm End Wars Committee and the director of the Proposition 1 campaign. In 1990, she co-founded the Proposition 1 Committee with her late husband, William Thomas, where they advocated tirelessly for nuclear abolition and war conversion. Their efforts actually led to DC's Initiative 37, which has inspired legislation introduced in Congress since 1994. As a tireless advocate, Ellen has spoken internationally, reported on world court hearings, and edited Nuke News since 1998. She helped maintain the White House Peace Park Vigil for nearly 2 decades, enduring legal battles and even imprisonment to defend First Amendment rights. She has also supported the homeless, served on the Washington Peace Center board, and documented activism through her writing, photography, and film. Now, as she works with WILPF, she has continued to fight for a more equitable and nuclear-free world, saying she cannot think of anything she would rather be doing than making the world safer for our children. For all of these reasons, WILPF US is incredibly proud to award our inaugural Vision Action Unstoppable Award to Ellen Thomas as she presents the spirit of WILPF. Ellen, we are so incredibly thankful and in awe of your important peace activism over many decades. Congratulations.
It was such a surprise to hear that I've been selected to receive a Vision Action and Unstoppable Award. Thank you so much. I've always felt blessed to be with WILPF, ever since Carol Erner recruited me in 2004, and to be co-chair of the Disarm End Wars Committee since 2008. So much impresses me about WILPF's longevity and peace activism. Amazing women working to end war, helping to establish the United Nations, organizing branches all over the world and the United States, providing support for civil and human rights, clean water and air, and my own passion, disarmament and peace on earth. I love that WILPF is an active member of the international campaign to abolish nuclear weapons, which won the Nobel Peace Prize. I've been asked to tell you something about my life. For almost 2 decades before joining WILPF, I vigiled with others day and night outside the White House for a world without nuclear weapons, using signs, literature, and petitions. We collected flyers and newsletters, letters, photos, and videos from all over the world, many of which are now archived at the Swarthmore Digital Peace Collection. I was arrested for vigiling multiple times between 1984 and 1992. In 88, I spent 3 months in federal prison charged with camping, but I went right back and kept on for another 14 years, seeking creative new ways to get our message across. In 1990, we incorporated Proposition 1 Committee to bring a voter initiative to DC, calling on the U.S. and then USSR to abolish nuclear weapons and use the money instead for human needs. Just as we started to get signatures, the Gulf War began in 91. We and many others beat on drums for the 40 days and 40 nights until the war stopped. Many people were arrested. I wasn't. I had a video camera and filmed those arrests, then produced a film, The Ground War at Home, which you can find linked at the bottom of our website, prop1.org. After the war, we launched successful DC Initiative 37, which inspired Eleanor Holmes Norton to introduce her Nuclear Weapons Abolition and Conversion Act every session since 1994. That's 17 times now. The bill this session is H.R. 1888. It asks the U.S. to sign the Treaty on the Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons and transform nuclear war and power industries to produce carbon-free, nuclear-free energy and other human needs, like environmental restoration. Between 2009 and 2019, with help from WILPF mini grants and friends, I toured the country 4 times to tell WILPF branches about Congresswoman Norton's bill and visited local congressional offices with WILPF members. We obtained several co-sponsors, but we need many more co-sponsors before we can get it out of the Armed Services and Foreign Affairs committees. And we need senators to introduce a companion bill. After the UN adopted the ban treaty in 2017, a coalition called Warheads to Windmills campaign has sought co-sponsors for the bill with considerable success. I'm so grateful that others have stepped up to help. It may seem impossible to accomplish nuclear disarmament or anything else with this administration and Congress, but we mustn't give up. In fact, we should all become more vocal, more visible, more creative, more patient, and more helpful to others who are afraid or angry or depressed. We're fortunate these days to have social media, smartphones, Zoom, and email to communicate. We don't have to sit in one place around the clock anymore to reach out to people. However, I do recommend consistent vigils where people will get used to seeing you and come talk with you. And I strongly recommend local voter initiatives, which let politicians know that their constituents want them to take action. Above all, don't give up. Again, many thanks for this award, which makes me a WILPF member for life. I love it.
Thank you so much, Ellen. That was so incredibly inspiring, and we appreciate all you have done and continue to do. Before we go ahead and present our next Vision Action Unstoppable Award, I just want to note that arts, singing, poetry, spoken word, dance, and comedy have all been an integral part of our history at WILPF. Particularly since in the founding of the Whole House, the settlement house which Jane Addams co-founded, the arts were central to their mission in fostering peace and equity. I am pleased now to present a mesmerizing spoken word artist, Britt Nicole. Britt is a Milwaukee-based spoken word artist, community healer, musician, and facilitator who hosts Lyrical Sanctuary at UWM and has performed at venues from Poetry Unplugged, the Marcus Center, and Broken Genius. A teaching artist with the Milwaukee Opera Theater since 2023, she centers healing, creativity, and reflection in her works. Britt is the 2022 Shepherd Express Best Local Author and the creator of Moods, Melanin, and Magic, album Nocturnal Butterfly, and the short film Soulmate. Please welcome me in welcoming Britt.
Hello, my name is Britt Nicole, and my poem is called We Are One. We are one together, in shambles, in times of sorrow. We hold each other up in love and accountability and understanding. We the people, be kinfolk, be magic, be light. A masterpiece full of beautiful pieces blended together, a melting pot full of stories, backgrounds, journeys, hardships, and triumphs. You see, we live to tell the story because someone needs our story to live. So we show up when it is hard to breathe, to process, to pray, to believe that we deserve to be seen, heard, and valued, stitched together through moments like this in communion. We sip from each other's shared thoughts, toasting to all of the storms that we have overcome as we prepare for all the things we have yet to encounter. Because everything that we need to be successful in this life already dwells on the inside. So we remind ourselves that we are not alone in this. For there is someone who sheds tears behind the same narrative you hold. So we take solace in knowing that we are not alone, for we are one together in this moment. So when we depart from this space in hopes of finding ourselves in the reflection of those we just met, like first Sunday when the spirit is high and we rejoice in this holy land that we created. This is sanctuary, where we can be uncomfortable and comforted at the same time. Listening to understand that will move us into a compromise where we stand 10 toes down in our authenticity and never apologize for being passionate and giving our all to the cause when others offer much less. I'm alive in this moment. There is a shifting in this place. God is here. in this moment is better than I ever imagined. I am grateful. I am with you. And remember to pick up your bravery and step out of your comfort zone, because you are chosen. So every day, choose to show up in this life fully human, full of flaws and curiosity, wonder and willingness, purposed, harvesting limitless power, knowing that you were created for more than just a moment that you existed.
Thank you so much, Britt. That was incredibly powerful. I mean, I have goosebumps, but without further ado, I'm also very proud to present our other inaugural Vision Action Unstoppable Award to what we like to call at WILPF our hero, Lisa Graves. Lisa is the founder and executive director of True North Research, a national investigative watchdog group that works with journalists and other researchers to help shine a brighter light on the dark money that fuels regressive agendas. Graves is one of the nation's foremost experts in exposing how special interests distort public policy and try to thwart the public's interests in a thriving and inclusive democracy. From 2009 to 2017, Lisa Graves led the Center for Media and Democracy and is currently the president of its board of directors. She is a frequent guest on MSNBC, CNN, the BBC, The Laura Flanders Show, and Democracy Now! Her op-eds have been published by the New York Times, The Guardian, Time, Slate, and The Hill. Her investigations have been featured in Ava DuVernay's Oscar-nominated documentary, The 13th, and in a PBS documentary narrated by Bill Moyers entitled The United States of Alec. Her research has been cited in critically acclaimed books, including Dark Money by Jane Mayer, Democracy in Chains by Nancy MacLean, and others. Lisa earned a JD cum laude from Cornell Law School, where she was a managing editor of the Cornell Law Review, and a BS with the highest honors in political science from the University of Wisconsin-La Crosse, where she was an award-winning college debater. Thank you and congratulations, Lisa Graves.
Congratulations to the Women's International League for Peace and Freedom on 110 years of courageous activism and advocacy for peace, human rights, voting and democracy, and environmental and economic justice. I am so pleased to join others in congratulating this organization that envisions a transformed world at peace, where there is racial, social, and economic justice for all people everywhere, a world in which the needs of all people are met in a fair and equitable manner, where all people equally participate in making the decisions that affect them, where the interconnected web of life is acknowledged and celebrated in diverse ways and communities, and where human societies are designed and organized for sustainable existence. I first encountered WILPF when I met Mary Beth Gardem and George Friday as we were working together to respond to the U.S. Supreme Court's coming decision back then in a case called Citizens United. In 2009, I had the joy of meeting Mary Beth and Lisa and other activists across the country who were concerned about what the U.S. Supreme Court was going to do and organized around what it did to respond to this terrible 5-4 decision by the U.S. Supreme Court to unleash a tsunami of outside cash into our elections, to influence our elections by billionaires. And that work to fight back against Citizens United continues. And I am so proud of the work that WILPF does and has done on these and other issues. I'm just an ordinary person who has devoted my life's work, my mission, to help protect people's individual rights, to help stand up to the powerful and expose their corruption. And that work has only increased over the past several years, and this year in particular. Howard Zinn, the great historian, said, "To be hopeful in bad times is not just foolishly romantic. It is based on the fact that human history is a history not only of cruelty, but also of compassion, sacrifice, courage, and kindness. What we choose to emphasize in this complex history will determine our lives. And if we see only the worst, it destroys our capacity to do something. If we remember those times and places, and there are so many, where people have behaved magnificently, this gives us the energy to act and at least the possibility of sending this spinning top of a world in a different direction. And if we do act, in however small a way, We don't have to wait for some grand utopian future. The future is an infinite succession of presents, and to live now as we think human beings should live, in defiance of all that is bad around us, is itself a marvelous victory. Also, as the great labor organizer and reformer who helped transform bold ideas like Social Security and ending child labor into reality, Frances Perkins said many things, one of which was, "There is always a large horizon and there is much to be done. It is up to you to contribute some small part to a program of human betterment for all time." Now, the mission of WILPF is so serious, especially in these times, because to desire peace, to wish for the happiness and health of one's family, to seek a secure and safe life, this is as one of my teachers taught me, these are the shared sentiments of ordinary human beings everywhere, even in countries that are helmed by people animated by greed, anger, and stupidity. People were not born into this world to harm or hate one another. Many philosophies teach that, but instead to love and help one another and help us thrive through building resilient communities despite the evil and reckless ambitions of a tiny few. War is abhorrent and cruel and unfathomably destructive, but it is caused by people. Therefore, it is also up to the people whether we will create a world of peace. That is the challenge that has been entrusted to each individual alive today, to create a world of peace and justice. And that is the embodiment of the mission of WILPF, in my view. Now is the time that we must call for peace, we must demand peace, we must urge our neighbors to do the same, to stop the destructive folly we are seeing and more. Because, as another great hero of mine, Frederick Douglass, said, power concedes nothing without demand. It never did, and it never will. We must remember day by day that progress is possible. Those are my words, although I think they're the heart of my mentors. The future is still unwritten. It is ours to make if we have hope. And as Howard Zinn observed, hope is the energy for change. Choosing hope is essential, even when the odds seem stacked against us, I say. Indeed, that is when we must employ hope, grit, and creativity most of all. So congratulations to WILPF on its 110th anniversary. I have deep appreciation for the organization and its talented volunteers and all you are doing to advance peace and justice. Here's to using the challenges, the grave challenges we are facing right now, as fuel to build a broad foundation for peace and justice and transform the 21st century into a century of peace and justice here and around the world. Thank you so much.
We are so incredibly thankful to have the ability to honor Lisa Graves. Her dedication to activism through her journalistic works truly exemplify why I think we as women stand here today and why WILPF's history of peace and social justice are relevant to today. We've also been reaching out recently to many of the living descendants of our founding mothers and leaders, and letting them know about this 110th anniversary to engage them with WILPF's most recent work. Next up is one of our descendants who has discussed the thrill of finding out more about her grandmother's contributions.
Hello, I am Annette Robertson, the third generation and lifelong member of WILPF. In the year 1915, Annette Roberts, my grandmother, marched in Chicago with Jane Addams and other suffragettes. Annette was a charter member of WILPF at the founding in 1915. Jane Addams was president of the new WILPF USA. In 1919, the suffragettes, including WILPF members, helped pass the right to vote for women, the 19th Amendment. Annette Roberts was a pacifist, a lifelong member and advocate for WILPF into her 80s. Her daughter, my mother, Joan Robertson, also a lifelong member, joined WILPF in 1940 after college. Joan went to 2 conventions with my grandmother. Mother remembers the executive director of WILPF, Dorothy Detzer, during the 1930s and 40s. Dorothy was a dynamo, Mom said, and she left an indelible impression on my mother. I joined WILPF shortly after college in 1980. My daughter Carol joined WILPF in 2015 as a college graduate and young mother. Carol and I attended the 100th anniversary of WILPF International and USA at The Hague in Holland in May 2015. A group of 4 members from the Milwaukee branch attended and advocated for women's rights and their place at the table in every country for policy change, peace, and decision making. 900 women from all over the world came to the meeting, and many were honored. Among the women honored were the founding and charter members, along with my grandmother, Jane Addams and Eleanor Roosevelt, and many other courageous women leaders of our country and internationally. It was a lifetime experience attending the 100th anniversary in that May of 2015, and it changed us forever. Thank you, WILPF, and thank you to our foremothers and founding members.
Hi, my name is Karen Bolden. My grandmother, Marjorie Hanson Matson, was an early member of WILF. Grandma was born in 1913 in Iowa and was orphaned at age 10 and moved to Pittsburgh to be raised by her Auntie Nell in 1925. She was raised on Jane Addams' thoughts. My Auntie Nell was a social worker who came from Chicago, and Grandma was very much influenced by this. In 1932, she joined WILF while a student at the University of Pittsburgh. Grandma went on to law school, and she continued her membership in WILF all the way through her entire life up until her passing in 1980. She was a lawyer before her time. She fought to use her maiden name. That was not successful. She fought to have the newspaper ads not say women help wanted and men help wanted. She went to the Supreme Court several times with key issues. It was that my grandmother wasn't just a member of the organization, but she was actively involved in this, as she was with the ACLU and many other civil liberties organizations during her time. I'm inspired by my family, both the current family and past, and they inspire me to get involved and not just send my check.
Hello, I'm here with my grandmother, Lola Maverick Lloyd, and we're celebrating the 110th anniversary of the Women's International League for Peace and Freedom. And believe it or not, she was 40 years old when she crossed the Atlantic and tried to stop World War I and helped to found WILF. Thank you, Lola.
I think this now brings us to a wonderful transition into the revolution that is arts, and most specifically music. We are excited to now present the visionary singer and songwriter, Leah Morris. Leah was born in Washington, D.C. to a father who toured the world as a trumpeter in a funk band and a mother who dreamed of singing in the opera. Leah herself began singing in the Baptist church as soon as she could talk. Having shared the stage with the likes of Odetta and Mavis Staples, Leah has returned to her own roots, composing songs for choirs in Braunschweig, Germany, where she currently lives. Here, performing her inspiring and most greatest song, Greatest Days, please welcome Leah Morris.
We are living in a strange time. We are living in amazing times. We are living in the greatest days of all time. Can you feel your mother calling? Can you feel your spirit echo her? That we are living in the greatest days there ever were. Way out in the distance, in the dust somewhere, the same old mission, same red clay in his hair. And he's been haunting the same sacred ground for round about 1,000,000 years now. He is living in a strange time, and he is living in amazing times. He is living in the greatest days of all time. But he can feel an era shifting in spite of all the pain that came before. He is living in the greatest days there ever were. Now you just stand by, yeah, you stay tuned. Somebody's gonna land my sister on the moon, and she's gonna wave down from on high and make this whole world cry. 'Cause she is living in a strange time. She is living in amazing times. She is living in the greatest days of all time. And can you see what we're becoming? Everything we've been and so much more. We are living in the greatest days there ever were. May I call you sweetheart? Am I losing touch? Black mask, don't ask, yet he always still are. Still haven't changed that much. Do you think we're gonna make it? Will we outgrow the hate, the greed, the war? Can we grow into our greatness? Everything that we were brought here for, to find we're living in the greatest days there ever were. You and I are in the greatest days there ever were. We are privy to the greatest days there ever were. So let's go out and make the greatest days there ever were.
Thank you so much, Leah, for sharing your love and passion with your words with us. Your voice is absolutely beautiful, and that song shows us the greatest days are truly coming, and we're in the greatest days. I think Leah's words are also a staunch reminder that we cannot create the greatest days of WILPF all alone. So remember, to meet the challenges of this time and raise the necessary funding to make WILPF sustainable for the next 110 years, we kindly ask you to see the text to donate and the donate link placed in the chat. Please go ahead and donate whatever you can to keep WILPF strong for the next 110 years. And without further ado, to close out this evening, we have asked a lot of different folks, from WILPF branches to allies and our friends, to give WILPF a congratulatory shout out, wishing us a 110th happy anniversary. Please enjoy this super fun video montage of WILPF's well-wishers.
Congratulations, Bill!
From Boston!
Happy 110th anniversary, WILPF, from Chicago branch.
Congratulations, Will!
Okay. Happy anniversary, WILPF,
from the CSW delegation in New York City. Human rights. Yay.
Congratulations.
Women's International League for Peace and Freedom.
On your 110th anniversary.
From the Detroit branch.
Peace.
Peace.
Congratulations,
Will. Congratulations.
Love the Jane Addams branch.
Lots of
love the Jane Addams branch.
Congratulations, Will. Hooray! Love from the Peninsula Palo Alto branch.
Congratulations.
Happy anniversary. Congratulations.
110 years. From Tucson
Thank
WILPF.
you. Tucson WILPF, yes.
Congratulations, WILPF. Yay! Love from the Monterey County, California branch.
Happy 110th anniversary, Women's International League for Peace and Freedom.
We stand on the shoulders of Jane Addams, Mildred Scott Olmsted, Kay Camp, Marge Van Cleef, and Libby Frank. And Marilyn Clement with the legacy of the Philadelphia Race Street office that fostered so many activists.
Hello, Women's International League of Peace and Freedom. I'm Senator Ed Markey. You have a legacy. So here's to 110 years of hard work. You are historic in the role which you play in our country.
Congratulations, WILPF, on your 110th birthday from your allies at an economy of our own. Your call for economic justice, essential for peace and freedom, rings truer than ever in 2025. Thank you for your insisting that we are stronger together.
Happy anniversary, WILPF. I feel so blessed to be part of such a powerful movement of women fighting tooth and nail to make the world a better place.
Hi, I'm Pat Elder, and my dad was born on this day in Washington in 1917. And it's amazing to consider that WILPF had already been going on for a couple of years. So I salute the Women's International League for Peace and Freedom. Thank you.
Hello and happy anniversary to the Women's International League for Peace and Freedom. My name is Tamara Lawrence and I'm a member of WILPF Canada, and I am bringing best wishes and solidarity from all of the sisters across Canada. For decades, with courage and creativity, WILPF has centered feminist peace and disarmament for climate justice and environmental justice. WILPF knows that war and weapons are wrecking the earth, and we also know that we need to work together to protect the earth, our shared home. So let's unite to demilitarize, decarbonize, decolonize, and here's to another 110 years of WILPF. Peace.
Happy 110th anniversary to WILPF from the Des Moines branch.
Happy birthday, WILPF, from Pat Hines in Montague. May you have another 110 years of working for peace and freedom for people, especially women, and the planet.
Happy anniversary, WILPF. I'm Winona Howard with Food and Water Watch, working together for safe and affordable water for all.
Hey, I'm Jerry.
I'm Elizabeth.
We want to say congratulations and celebrate the anniversary of WILPF and the incredible work you're doing. Thank you.
Thanks.
Wow. I mean, I think in and of itself, that video truly embodies how wonderful it can feel to just celebrate and feel the love that is all around us, especially in the Women's International League for Peace and Freedom and the movement we've created as women here revolutionizing peace all around us. We have so many WILPF supporters here, and it's incredibly heartwarming to see that culminated. I want to thank you all again for all of the shout-outs, and to all of you at home. Thank you so much for attending our celebration of WILPF at 110, Vision Action Unstoppable. We can't thank you enough for all of your support. I hope that this night has especially proven in and of itself that the work that we as women have placed into WILPF is generational, and the love that we have in our hearts to peace and activism will live on for years to come. Please strongly consider texting to donate or using the donate link in the chat to keep that passion alive for another 110 years within WILPF. Again, thank you so much for being in attendance here tonight, and please feel free to join us in a moment or two for a very fun after party. Thank you, and good night, everybody.